I'm here with Hikaru Nakamura, who just won his final match against Nordivek at the setter of 2-0. Hikaru, quite a satisfying way to end the tournament, I imagine.
Well, I think if you win the first game in Fisher Random with the black pieces, I frankly think, it's already hard enough to try and win a game with black in regular chess, but I think in Fisher Random, it's borderline impossible if your opponent is just going to be solid with the white pieces. I actually thought what Nordivek did was very creative, because even though I suspect I was probably winning on like move 7 or move 8 somewhere, it was not obvious, and if I play one wrong move, it can very easily go the wrong direction. So he actually built up quite a bit of an advantage on the clock, but even so, my position was pretty solid, and then he just made this bad blunder with rook fc8 near the end. Without that move, I could have gone on realistically. I don't think he had winning chances by that point, but nonetheless, it's still nice to have a pretty smooth, easy final game, so I'm pretty happy.
Weissenhaus is in the books now. There is 4, or at least 4 events still remaining in this tour. Is there one you're particularly looking forward to, and what are your general thoughts on this upcoming season? Yeah, so I mean, the first things first is that the format has already undergone a few changes. I believe that initially it was supposed to be 8 players, and ultimately this event ended up being 10 players. And then I think the next one is 12 players. So because of that, I feel pretty optimistic that I'll be able to qualify or get a wild card for every single event, which is quite nice, because with the initial 8-player format, I don't think there was any guarantee that I would be playing all the events. But as it stands right now, it seems pretty likely that I will. So pretty happy about that. I think if you were to ask me about an event that I really am looking forward to, without a doubt, it would be the last event in December in Cape Town, South Africa. South Africa is a place that I've been before, somewhere that's very near and dear to my heart. I actually donated quite a bit of money to help some kids try and travel to Europe and get some experience. So if there's one place that I'm really looking forward to, it's actually Cape Town, even though, of course, there will be an event in the place that I grew up, which is New York, but definitely the last one. I think it's really interesting what you're saying about supporting the kids there. I mean, you have done so much already to grow the game as a content creator, a streamer. Do you see yourself doing more of that, promoting the game to kids, supporting them, especially less privileged children?
I mean, it's obviously quite different than it was back then. That was something that I did purely out of the goodness of my heart. It's long before I started making serious content or becoming famous, I guess you could say, outside of the chess world. I think there are a lot of people who don't have the opportunities in chess that they should have, and so anytime that I can be a part of that, it's a good thing. I think, there's, of course, a much bigger thing going on right now with this Esports World Cup, and I think when you look at what's happening with a lot of players getting these contracts that are significant amounts of money, definitely as a percentage compared to what they make as pro players, it speaks volumes also that even if I'm not directly the one driving it, that what happened during the pandemic with content creation is there. I think without what happened in 2020 or 2021 in the online space, there's no doubt that this would not be going on. So I'm also very, very proud of that as well, that it seems like the top players are finally getting some benefits out of the whole chess boom. I think that's definitely a good thing. So I'm really looking forward to the future.
The Esports World Cup that you just talked about, is that a big event for you in this year, 2025?
Yeah, so I mean, this morning actually, I was out filming some stuff in relation to that. I think, as I said before the event began, without a doubt, the two biggest things are the Esports World Cup and I wanted to. I'm pretty sure I will now play the final freestyle event in South Africa. But also looking beyond that, I mean, I think for me, the World Cup is also going to be a very monumental event, and we'll see how that goes. So those are probably the 3 biggest things in the near future.
It was announced yesterday that Fabiano was signed by Team Liquid. Other players, as you mentioned, have been signed already. Do you have any thoughts on any of the players or any of the teams?
I mean, I think it's as I said before, it's definitely a good thing that there are sponsors and there are teams that are interested. I think you have to realize that I come from the background of being both a pro player and a content creator, and I mean, the only thing that I would say that I'm a little bit disappointed by is that the timing. If this had happened a couple of years ago, I think it could have been a lot more significant. I mean, people obviously know what I refer to in relation to esports and just the whole online scene in 2020 and 2021 into 2021. 2022. But nonetheless, it's very good. Obviously, myself as well as a few other players are probably going to be making some announcements in the near future. And I think from my standpoint, just having met with some of the teams, having spoken to some people, having seen a lot of familiar faces, reconnecting. In 2024 versus say when I saw some of these people in 2020 or 2021 is really quite nice, and so I think in general it's a good thing. I think when you look at what's happening with events like freestyle, for example, with the top prize of $200,000, you look at the Esports World Cup with I think a top prize of I think it's $325,000 if I'm not mistaken. And you compare that to the fact, as I've said on my stream a million times, prior to the boom, Magnus was without a doubt the only person, if you exclude the World Championship match, obviously, but, outside the World Championship match, he was the only player making seven figures. And I think off the backs of this, there are going to be a couple other players who probably are going to be approaching the seven figures per year as chess players. And that is very much a good thing in my view. So the future is very, very bright for, I think, the players who are around right now.
Exciting times indeed. And finally, what's next for you?
So yeah, of course, I'm going back to the U.S. tomorrow. I will be going to St. Louis and playing some events there. There's a Champion Showdown event at the start of March, and then there will be the American Cup in the middle of March. I think also, speaking about everything, I like to say that it's all about timing. Whether you talk about life, whether you talk about chess, whether you talk about business, frankly, or the markets, really doesn't matter what it is. A lot of what counts is timing, and for me, I look at my professional career, and in many ways, I really got a big boost from going to St. Louis in 2009 and 2010. And so it's in large part due to the patronage from Rex Singfield. And I mean, Rex is not super young anymore. He's now, I think, 81 or 82. And anytime I have a chance to go to St. Louis and really, pay tribute to someone who has been both very influential for my own career, but also for chess in the U.S. is very special. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Rex and being back at the chess club. And, I feel like all these things are kind of colliding, and it's great to have been a part of so many of these special moments in chess over the last 15 to 20 years.
Hikaru, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us, and all the best with your future events.
Thank you.